Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Shelton. Um, we are going to get started on continuing our painting exploration project this week. Yep, I have this crazy hat on. We had no electricity in our house today, so my hair was crazy when I woke up and couldn't tame the beast, so we'll just put the hat on. So we're going to go with it. So we're going to make something like this today. Okay? And this is kind of like my experiment on how to use my paint and how to use found objects from my house to make prints. So I have gone into my kitchen and have looked through my refrigerator and my pantry and different things to come up with different items in my house that I may use to make different types of prints or stamps. Now, please make sure you ask a grown-up in your house because they may not want you cutting up food, using things. So just get permission. So I went ahead and I got an apple and I found one that was kind of crummy. This one's starting to go rotten. So I cut it in half. Also, please get permission before you use a sharp knife to cut because I had to cut this in half so that I could get this. I'm going to set this over here so that I could get this inside part of the apple to show. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start. I made this paint last week. Remember if I gave you guys a video to show you guys how to make paint? You made it out of flour and water and I forgot what else is in it, but we mixed it up and I saved this. Now I put mine in this little container. This is kind of a cool cupcake container that I got from the dollar store. I think there were like 4 for $1. I put my paints in all these different containers. I can put a piece of saran wrap or tinfoil over it and it will save the paint if I want to use it again. When I'm done with the paint, I can wash it out, I can save the container and reuse it. Now, if you didn't make the paint from last week or you didn't have the supplies, it's okay. If you want to come up with like a different, creative way to make paints, you want to experiment with coming up with your own concoction, awesome. I look forward to seeing it. But if you came up with these paints like we made last week, that'll work really well. So I just found some, like I said, some things from my house. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the apple. I already tried, so I'm going to use the clean one. Now the best way to put the paint on the apple, instead of just dipping the apple in here because it will get way too thick and kind of gooey and goopy and drippy, I'm going to use a paintbrush. If you don't have a paintbrush, you can use a paper towel, you can use a tissue, something to dip down in the paint and rub it on here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this paintbrush. I'm going to paint the blue right on here, like this. I'm going to smooth it out so it's not too clumpy and goopy. Because if you get too much paint on there, you're not going to be able to see the shape of the apple because the paint's just going to kind of smear. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set my supplies over here. And I'm going to print. And I'm going to put them in a row on the top because I like to see, instead of putting them all over the paper, I like to see them all in rows so that I can see what type of shape and print I get from each object. So here are my apple prints. They're kind of cool. Whoops, I just touched that with my finger. I got paint on there. Alright, so that was my first experiment. They're kind of cool. They make kind of like a heart shape with a little hole in the middle. Another item I have is celery. Celery is a good one. And I already tried it. And if you look at the end, it's kind of like if you turn it this way, a C shape or a U shape. You can go like that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a little bit of the red paint on here. Again, I'm going to paint it on because I just feel like it's better for getting the least amount of paint on there so it's not too. And I'm going to put them in a row. They look a little bit like jelly beans, which are yummy. Okay, so that was creative. And I go ahead, so I have those. Awesome. So I also have some cucumbers. We happen to have these left over from dinner last night. My kids love cucumbers, but I had them in a little baggie in my fridge. But they're really, really wet. They're damp. So, and they're a little bit floppy. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it on this cloth right here, or a paper towel or something, and wipe some of the wetness off. And when I was experimenting, it was very hard for me to hold it with my hand, so I came up with the idea of sticking a fork in it, like that. So when I do my stamp, whoop, see, it's already falling off because it's floppy. So, guess what? I'm going to be resourceful. I'm going to stick it through two to make it a little thicker. Still a little floppy, but just keep trying till I can get it. Doing this project is all about experimenting and coming up with different ideas. You're going to have to do some problem solving too, like you just saw me doing some problem solving there. Like my cucumbers are floppy and they don't want to stay on the fork. I'm going to put that there. Pick it up. Do another one. I'm kind of holding it, guiding it with my hand. Coming off a little bit. Okay. So I kind of have circles like that. Okay, pretty cool. So I'm going to also do the same thing with a potato. So again, the potato is a little tricky because you have to cut with a knife. So please have a grown-up help you, or an older brother or sister, whoever you can, because I don't want anybody to get hurt. So yeah, it cut into a circle, but the cool thing with a potato is I can kind of cut a shape into it. So I'm going to cut mine in half, like this, and then I'm actually going to cut again. Pop out this little, so it's like this shape. And this is pretty thick. It's not as wet as the cucumber. It's still kind of damp, but I'm going to use the fork again to stick in the potato. And I think this one's going to work better because potato is a little thicker and stiffer. So I'm going to go ahead, put my color on the end here. Try blue again. I'm going to try this. I'm going to go along here. Ooh, I like this one. It's cool. And you don't have to use the same design as me. You can get creative with cutting out your own design. But a potato is a great resource for print making or making your own stamps. Pretty awesome. So I have those like that. Now, I also looked in my house and I found some recycled items. Now, if you remember at the beginning of the school year, I asked you guys to kind of keep a box of recycled items. Collect some things, keep them in a bin. Now, I do know that I did have some complaints that parents didn't want to keep buckets of recycled items all over the house, so if you don't have them saved away, that's fine. Just kind of like sort through, you can sort through some of your garbage, your thrown away items. Make sure things aren't too yucky or gross, but I was able to find this toilet paper roll that I had already stored in my recycle bin, and I'm going to kind of paint the edge. You can dip the toilet paper roll in the paint, but again, you run into the issue where you might run into the problem of getting too much paint on it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try this. It's pretty cool. Oh, these make circles, like a giant letter O, which is pretty sweet. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hold that up for you. Probably should have switched to my color. So, it's pretty interesting. Now I have this, and you might be asking what this is. Well, we have like this coffee maker, and you use these little K-cups, and you put it in the coffee maker, and when you take them out, you just throw them in the trash. But if you save them, you can use the bottom. And I used this one earlier with my red paints. And again, just put a little bit. Oops. Try to wash your brush out. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try this stamp. This one doesn't hold the paint as much, so you might have to reapply the paint in between your stamping. Okay. I'm going to go ahead. We have that one on the bottom. Now, I also had these little sponges, and I'm not really sure what they're off of, but I had them in my recycle bin. So I'm going to give it a try. These are going to be a little trickier because they're really tiny. So I'm going to, again, paint the paint. Use the paintbrush. Put on the end, because a sponge will like suck all the paint up, and it will put too much paint on your paper. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try this one. I'm going to move my paper back so you guys can see a little better. And I'm going to do a little, ooh, this makes just little squares. But this is kind of nice because it's a different shape that we haven't used yet. Most of the items I've been using are circles, except for the celery. The celery gave us like a little C. So here is my experiment page, and it actually looks kind of cool. And I've put everything in a row so that I can kind of see the different shapes and the different textures that each of my items give. Now, please be creative. Look all over your house. Also get parent permission, especially when using food items and things that need to be cut with a knife. Be resourceful. I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with and how creative you are. I'm really excited to see if you guys come up with some cool new ways of making paint. Remember to submit these on the Google form so that I can see them, and submit your new ideas on creating new painting utensils. Last week I posted a video on how to make different types of paintbrushes out of different items from your house, and then this week we're using items from our home, recycled items or food items, to make stamps. So be creative, have fun, and don't forget to submit your projects so I can see what you did. I look forward to checking out all your cool ideas. See you guys. Have a great day.